Welcome, everybody, to the Atlanta Sea Colony live stream. My name is Adam Jewell, and with me, as always, is a drink from Taco John's. Also, my friend Brendan Traxler. Brendan, how you doing, buddy?
All right. There's probably a big portion of our viewing audience who has no idea what Taco John's probably even is.
You know, I thought of that as soon as I said it, because man, you've talked about this. For those of you who don't live in the Midwest or have not been in the Midwest, Taco John's, Brendan, how would you decide it besides amazing?
It is. It's amazing. If you like Taco Bell, you're going to love Taco John's. First off, the food is like a better quality food. And then they're what they call the hash brown things.
Olays?
Yes. I'd probably say that. I think I was right, though. Oh, man. Get a 6-pack in a pound and you're good to go.
Yeah. So we would love to talk more about Taco John's, but unless they're sponsoring us, we just don't have the time for it. But yeah, I before the live stream started, I had to run some errands quick and decided to go and grab some food and decided the old TJ's. That's what us Midwesterners call it, TJ's. Anyway,
not to be confused with TJ Maxx.
I will give them one more thing too. Sorry, I know we need to move on from Taco John's, but so this is a large pop or whatever. Usually, when you go to a fast food place and you get a large or something, they're usually not all that big. But Taco John's, they hook you up.
Have you been to Wendy's?
We don't have a Wendy's.
Anyway.
And one more quick thing before we dive into Atlanta Sea Colony. Brenda, do you know what I'm going to say? Do you know what I'm going to say?
So anyway, how are you doing
this weekend? Do you want to say it?
So stupid.
I had a really good weekend, actually, buddy. And not just because the Bengals are going to the Super Bowl.
Nobody cares.
I know. But the thing is, I don't have a lot of people that I can just say how happy I am about that too. Everybody gets it. Everybody that's actually working close to me, they're about tired of it now. So I just had to get out this venture. But I did have one quick kind of related to that. Before we get into our main topic, we are approaching Super Bowl. It's a big sports event. For us folks that might live underwater and maybe long term, maybe we set up communities. What kind of sporting events do you think we could hold at sea? Something that would be specific just to that. What do you think?
Kelp knitting.
Kelp knitting? Competitive kelp knitting? That made me think. It's just a lot of sporting and stuff like that was a lot of it's founded based on region and
scuba is considered a sport.
But is it competitive?
I guess you can make it competitive. I guess you could. You can go the deepest and come up the fastest to live.
Yeah. I get the thing. It's just what's something that could be unique to our communities? We'll think about it someday. All right, Brennan, what's the topic for today, buddy?
So I think it's interesting that the topic is how to best use time while we're sitting here talking about fast food and sports for the people out there watching. So yeah, no, that's the topic is how to best use your time. The reason I thought of this is, I was having a hard time coming up with something for this week, and I'll explain why. But I wanted to be real tonight because of all that. My schedule has been filling up ridiculously here recently. Preparing for this event, Ignition Con here, just a couple of weeks, emails with potential interviews, networking, all this kind of stuff, which I'll dig down into a little bit later here too. But my concern, I concern myself, and maybe too much because you're always your one worst enemy here. Is that about what we're doing here in our social media? We're always looking at how to best use our time, i.e., why it's titled this way, to bring anyone who enjoys our content the best value and information. That's why we put out so much content. That's why we do the lives. That's why we do everything that we do. But I think that sometimes, and Adam, I've had this discussion multiple times. That I put too much that well, and I put too much pressure on myself about this whole thing, that I force the content sometimes, that we have to get so much out and we have to do things on a time frame. And so that's something that I'm always juggling and battling. And I think we put out good content and good articles. I send Adam quite a bit. I think the stuff we put out is good stuff that people want to hear, see, and read, and all, for the most part. And we have a lot of fun here on our weekly lives and stuff. We get the interviews. But I think about, as we continue to grow and we're getting more attention, we're getting new followers and so on, I want to make sure that what we're doing, either it's a social media, out in public or whatever, not only fulfills our mission of building manned underwater structures, but that we're also adhering to a professional and value-based content in everything we do, especially on our social media platforms. I'm pretty sure that we're the only group out there, and there's a few out there that's doing what we're doing. I mean, most of the other people working on underwater habitats maybe put out something every 6 months, every 3 months, something along those lines. Not 3 to 6 pieces of content. Actually, if you do it across all of our stuff, it's probably 12 to 20 pieces of content a day across all of our social media platforms. And so it's a double-edged sword that, once again, we've talked quite a bit about. Being visible keeps us accountable, and that's the way I keep on saying it to everybody that's supporting us, invested in this, our patrons, just people who've been following us for quite a while. It keeps us accountable to that, and to stay on top of things. It also puts out there potential investors and stuff to find us. I truly believe that's one of the ways that this is going to get funded, is because of all the stuff we put out there, that something's going to click with somebody or get in the right hands and they're going to see us, versus not doing anything whatsoever and being quiet. And it also just grows the community, and that's all about. I think about when I came up with the idea of Atlanta Sea Colony back in the 90s. There is no way that the teenage boy could have ever envisioned that the social media, first of all, social media period, it didn't exist, but that we'd be able to interact with thousands of people and have them join us on this journey as we build a scalable underwater habitats. But I say, on the flip side, though, I fear that we sometimes sound like we're beating on the same drum with not much to show for it. And as I've experienced in the past, sometimes putting too much out there allows somebody else that may have the funds and the know-how to come along and take that and run with it as well. So it's a double-edged sword. So it's really one of those things where the whole purpose of tonight, once again, was really throwing together real quick based on this line of thinking I had, was, so where do we go from here? How do we do better? And really, what is the next step? Do we up the production value, which I think we need to do no matter what for some of the stuff we do? Do we get green screens? Do we put out less content? Do we want more content? What is it that we need to be doing to make the best use of our time to get this thing done as soon as possible? As I said, there's a lot of things I've been working on here. Here's just a quick list I came up with, was making some notes today, was that we got Ignition Con, which is on the 17th, which I believe, I got to read my last message, I think is going to be live now, so people will be able to join that. I've got I got an interview at the Seasteading Institute on the 16th that we're doing. We've also got this competition for new videos and art renderings and stuff that we got to decide on. I'm working with different engineering schools, working with students and stuff along those lines to try to get some more collaboration with them. Parts vendors, especially a data communication vendor that I'm going to call, maybe schedule tomorrow with. Updates to the website, working on a children's book, attracting investors through different websites. Adam and me have been looking at some different websites to possibly try to get in some investors from them, new merch ideas and designs, and then still continue on with partnerships. That's on top of everything else we're doing here. So there's a lot that I personally am working on here. And this isn't a complaint whatsoever. It's just, is it too much? Are we focused on the wrong thing? And after the events that Babe sent me today, which we'll talk about here in a second as well, I think it was a necessary kick in the butt for me as far as this whole journey and what we're doing. So that's kind of where I want to throw it back at you, Adam, here and get some feedback from you on it.
First off, I think that's the longest you've talked without me butting in. So, first off, that's a good record. Real quick,
Yeah.
I commend your hydration efforts over there. You got a big water jug that you're drinking from right there. Yeah. Okay, but onto the topic at hand. Yeah, like you said at the top of what you were saying, you and I have had a lot of discussions, arguments, and whatever about, how we go about doing day-to-day business, short-term, long-term, whatever it is. And we've had a lot of differences of opinions on it and whatnot. And but I think that's one of the things that's always like worked between us is that we, I don't know what's the proper term, checks and balances in a sense.
Yeah.
Like we kind of balance each other out. And what might make sense to me might not make sense to you, vice versa. But yeah, I mean, I think this is a good idea of making it kind of that we reach out to people too, because that is one of the things that it's hard to gauge sometimes, where it's just like, do the people enjoy being able to be like, hey, at least we can tune in and talk with them and see what they got going on and whatever every week, or could it be the other way around where people are like, it's like, put out the habitat, we don't really care about the live stream type deal,
Right.
And I'm sure it's a mix of both.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've both talked about that before but I guess in my personal opinion, and a lot of it I've come around to myself, is that it's like, I think everything has a role and purpose in what we do. And and I mean, I'm not going to keep it secret or whatever, but it's like, one of the things I've always expressed to you is it's like, the ultimate goal always has to be getting this thing built. All this other stuff is helpful and supplements, and as far as like a community outreach type deal, but is what I've always expressed to you is it's like, we can't let that stuff surpass the ultimate goal, where it's just like focusing too much time and energy, like say into the live stream or the podcast or doing that stuff, as opposed to spending more time doing the exact things you said that you've been doing, contacting, the engineering people, the getting in touch with a bunch of other people, that's what I've always felt from being on the inside with you, is that's where I guess 70-30 of our time, in a sense, is like 70% of the time should be doing the actual thing, 30, and I'm just throwing those numbers out there. But having a balance of both, even like not necessarily 50-50 balance, but it's important to do both tasks. But that kind of leads into what we've talked about before, where we've tried and do have some people that have helped us out and worked with us that do kind of can help branch out some of that too. They said Babe's been helping with stuff and has been working on stuff with us to where, that can give you and I time to do other stuff, and, trying to find some other people to join us and be able to help out. Because, I mean, really, for me, like when I first started, like doing stuff, like I was just making social media posts for you. Like I would just put the stuff on the social media stuff, make some content for, the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that. But I mean, it's kind of evolved to where it's like, I've contacted people, as far as like I said, I've talked to schools before. We've reached out to locations and potential partners and all that, where it's like, that wasn't what I initially was going to do. It's what I want to do. It's something I want to be able to enjoy doing. But rewinding a little bit, the more help and more, I guess, community build we have, the more time that you and I can get put back into the business side of it, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I think a lot of it boils down to how I envision things never really come out the way that I think they're going to, type of thing.
Mhm.
And I've got ideas for what I think is important as far as outside of the actual habitat itself. That short of some engineer coming and saying that's impossible, it's never going to work, which has already not been said, so I'm not even too worried about that. That's even a moot point there. Um, is any of this worth it, type of thing? And even if we say, hey, we're going to stop doing the live every Tuesday, I still think we would come back for special interviews for Babe stuff along those lines, because there is still information I want to put out there. And maybe it's not a live, but maybe it's just a VOD on YouTube,
Mhm.
that we put it out there. Um, eh, because back when we were doing the video format interview podcast, it seems like it's a little bit better quality. Obviously, it wasn't live for one thing, so we're able to edit and stuff along those lines too.
Yeah.
So once again, I'm not saying we're doing away with it Tuesday night. I'm just throwing out scenarios and stuff along those lines too. I don't know. There's just a lot going on. Like I told you the other day, I have so many things going on, and like you're saying, which ones are important, which ones aren't. Um, to me, they're all important,
Yeah.
and that's kind of where I'm at. So that's why I throw it back to you guys, the people who actually are the ones consuming the content. Um, what stuff actually that we're doing is important, or that you guys get the most value out of it and enjoy the most. Is it our posts? Is it these lives? Is it you prefer them when that is actual real good content? What is it? So yeah, that's kind of as you notice, I've got a theme going with our lives here. I throw the questions back at everybody to answer, because I don't have all the answers.
Because we're tired of answering your question. No.
Yeah, no.
Well, no. To try to phrase it the right way, but it's like one of the reasons, and not the main reason by any means. I want to make that perfectly clear. But one of the reasons that we wanted to have such a strong social media presence and be able to have more outreach is to have that possibility. And I think we realized after a while that it was going to be much more difficult, but have that possibility of crowdfunding the project. So we were thinking like, okay, if we get enough followers and if we get enough interaction and stuff, we could have a lot of sponsors, and we'd have like a lot of donations and stuff like that. And we do get donations. We do have the patrons and stuff, and all that is helpful. But I think we realized quick, like the math behind a lot of it, that our presence would have to be so much greater to where you almost have to invest into that just to get it. So it's like, and that's not necessarily
we did. I mean, we were boosting Facebook and stuff like to grow this, because we figured if we can get so many people, and even if they give $100 a piece, which isn't tons of money, that could fund the whole entire thing. And then we got looking to have percentages and stuff along those lines. So yes, the intentions when we first started this have drastically changed over the past couple of years. So yeah.
Something's
Anyway, as he's figuring that out. So yeah, there's been a change in our focus over the years too. And change is always hard for people who are used to something. So that's kind of where we're at. We've got a lot going on that we're going to complete everything we're working on. That's all these stranglers out there. The book is for all intents and purposes done. I'm just trying to wrap that up and then get the artwork on it. The interview and the Ignition Con, once those are done, those are over with. Everything is just a lot going on here at the beginning of the year, which is great. We wanted 2022 to be a big year, a great year, and it's going to be. But where we go after that, what is it that is important to you guys? I keep on saying that, but that's really what this boils down to, is what's important to you. Because I would personally, I would turn it all off and just focus on the underwater habitat, if I could. That's where my personal choice is, because this type of stuff, it takes a lot of time to do. I enjoy it's a mixed bag because I enjoy giving this information to everybody because I love talking about this stuff. I love having the interviews. I love talking to people, but at the same time, I just want to work on it. I want to get it done. I want to have something in the water for so many different reasons. But yeah.
I'm back, by the way. Yeah. And that's where I was, and still am sometimes too, where it's just like, man, we just got to put our focus on 100% on that. And it's like, you can't, you know what I mean? Like, because, and maybe we'll talk about it in a bit, but it's just like, I don't see it as we have competitors, but we have other people out there trying to do the same thing. And by all means, we don't want them to not succeed in what they're trying to do, but it's like, we also see where we could have an advantage by having the social media presence, the interactions that we have, where essentially we've created kind of a hub for this in a way, where I feel like based on all the people out there that are aside from the Seasteaders, which is a different concept altogether, but like I think the people that are trying to do what we're doing, we've created something super special and something that they haven't. And by just creating a community of it, you know, whether it's our Discord, whether it's our social media presence, whether it's the live stream, you know, so that alone speaks volumes to where, yeah, I mean, we only, you know, our live stream viewership isn't like the highest by any means, but that doesn't matter a lot of times because a lot of people have tuned in afterwards and whatever. But we also get a lot of good discussion out of it too. We have people that comment and post, send us messages. They talk to us in the Discord. They, you know, emails and Facebook messages, you know, other messages through the different platforms or whatever. So, and I think if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have some of the gains we've already made. So, but yeah, I mean, in a perfect world, thanks, Wiley. We have to be able to have that in order to continue to succeed, you know. But yeah, I'm 100% with Brendan on this, where it's like, I just want the stuff and I want to build it. Not only because like to be able to like get it done and like move on to the next stage of it, it's just like, I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be cool to be able to do it. And it's just like, I'm into that kind of work anyway. So it's just like, I want to be able to do it. I want to be able to physically touch this thing. I want to be able to show people like, all right, this is what we're doing. This is how it's going to work. Because then that adds a whole new level of what we're trying to do anyways, where it's just like, all right, guys, we're like you've always said, it'd be cool to do the live stream from the habitat, from the structure as we build it. You know, that'd be the cool thing to be able to do.
Yeah. And, you know, for personal reasons, it's one of those things where, you know, I've been talking about this thing for 25 years, and the people who've always laughed at me about the whole thing and thought I was insane, you know, it's one of those, you know, yeah, I know what I'm talking about type of thing too, but that is a minor petty reason for wanting to do it, but it, you know, it is there. But no, it's one of those things where I can see all the possibilities of all the different partnerships we can have with everybody, you know, coral restoration. We can mount, you know, cameras all over this thing, the data, the live cams that can go off. There's so many different verticals that can be implemented into this idea. And we just gotta get this first one in the water. I just feel like once we get the first one in the water, it'll not only cement this legitimacy that we've been trying to build through our social media for the past several years, but that it will hopefully be that catalyst for other people to look at these other businesses too that are trying to do it and hopefully help them out as well. Because there's a lot of people out there that I know are feeling the same frustration and pain. I've talked to them, I can hear it, that we struggle with too. So it's a big ocean. There's plenty of room out there for all of us to do our own thing. It's just somebody, and it's going to be us, are going to be the first ones out there to do this.
That's the goal.
Gonna happen.
Yeah. So, I mean, it like I said, we create the open discussion of, what more we want, or what people want more or less of, I guess, from that aspect. Because it would be cool to, like, if we had a staff, you know what I mean, like, to where we someone else was doing the live stream, and I hate that we make so many comparisons to like SpaceX and stuff, but like when you think about it, they have like their own like when they're doing their launches and stuff, they have like a staff that does the coverage of that, and like they have their own like little like broadcast studio and people that host and narrate.
We'll get there. We'll get there one day.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I kind of foresee something like that, to where it's like you have someone that's in that, like, it's not like Elon Musk is the one that's like, all right, guys, like, welcome to my live stream. It's like, granted, it'd be kind of funny, and it'd be kind of cool, but yeah.
No, and for the whole podcast live stream thing, that has always been my intention too, is that we could get it to go, and then others would come along and want to take that banner and run with it, the baton and run with it type of thing. So we could turn it over and have our podcast, Colonize the Ocean podcast, which if you guys haven't checked that out, a lot of these lives we turn into that. And we've got quite a few listens on that thing that continues to get listens every time we put stuff out there. So I know we have a bunch of people that subscribe to that. And we've got a lot of content that's going back for a couple of years on there too. So you may want to go check that out. A little selfish plug there for the podcast. But there is that. And for some run with that. And likewise with this, getting those interviews, doing the interviews, which is the fun part really, is getting to talk to these people and all these different pioneers in industry. There's some bigger names out there I'd still love to get interviews with. But it is what it is for right now. We got to do what we got to do. And we are going to do what we got to do with the help of people like you.
What was the old PBS thing like? With special things.
Paid for by, yeah.
Yeah, paid for in sponsorship and viewers like you. Yeah.
Which are Patreon members, that they are the viewers like you. They're the ones that definitely.
They are the people.
They're our PBS.
Yeah, they are our PBS.
The Patreon broadcasting system.
I was going to try to pull up our podcast on my desktop, but what I listen to, it doesn't have a desktop version.
Because it's out there. It should be on Apple, Google, Spotify. It should be on most of the big players. I think it's still on iHeartRadio. I mean, it's on almost all the.
I was gonna say, I believe so. The one that I use for all the podcasts I listen to, it's Castbox, and I know it's on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I try to get it on everybody when I set it up.
Yeah. Yep. Castbox.
Yeah, we got some good interviews, good ones. The first season we had, even though it was our hardest one, I think we got some of the better interviews that first year.
Well, that's because the focus was all about trying to get interviews, and that was before the live stream, because like is what we do is we turn our live stream into the podcast now.
Yep.
Whereas back then it was just the podcast. So yeah.
Anyway, we digress. We get off track here. Anyway.
Do the digressing.
So, guys, I might maybe make a poll and throw it out there about this whole thing. Is, what value you guys see of what we do, and get feedback from the community as well. Just curious.
But you want to know the best way that people can do that?
What's that?
Get on our Discord.
There is that. We're in there all the time. There's always some kind of conversation in there. Usually not even headed up by us. I'll chime in there every once in a while, but most of the time I don't even have to.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of it's been taken over by the members, which is exactly what Discord was meant to do. Is that other people are talking about the kind of stuff that we like to talk about. So it's like, yeah, it's cool. I don't get in there and talk as much, just because like a lot of other people are a lot smarter than I am. So it's just like, I don't know if this is my area to kick in and be like, hey, I got a good idea. So, no, but there's a lot of good, progressive, productive conversation in there, and just a good community in general. I like our little Discord group.
Anyway, well, that's all I've got, guys. Adam, you want to
take it home?
Take it home.
All right, I'm gonna take it home.
You know, the one thing we do have to start talking about now, though, is when you get to Patreon, with the Patreon, we got different tiers, and now we have people in different tiers. So we need to announce the different.
Hey, remember what we're gonna do?
I know exactly what you're gonna do.
Okay, well, just chill then.
Okay.
I'm getting to it, Brendan. I'm so tired of you always like trying to take away my thunder. Let me just do this. Let me be the man I was meant to be.
I'm waiting.
I know. I had to make sure I grabbed the right one here. Hey guys, go over to AtlantaSeaColony.com. That's our website. You know, we're Atlanta Sea Colony. Our website's AtlantaSeaColony.com. It's a nice looking website. You want to know who put it together? Brendan. So check that out. And like you said, you can go to our social media page here. And for those of you who don't know, we're on these things. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. Here's our Discord. You go click on that. It gets you into our Discord.
And the crazy thing is, we're on even more stuff that's not even on there. I just didn't put it on there because it's not main stuff. Somebody in Discord the other day said, hey, I found some Atlanta Sea Colony on Odyssey, which is also library. Because is that even legit? And so I was like, oh, yeah. And so we're in a bunch of different places. Just doesn't get updated as often.
Yep. YouTube. You know, if you want, here's our podcast right here. TikTok. You guys on TikTok? You crazy kids and your TikToks. And merchandise. Guys, merchandise? Do we have that? Boom. Let's go over to that. Because I keep saying this every week, but I need to order some new merch. I think I got to do... Oh, sorry, because it opened up in a new tab there. That's why it's not showing. Hold on.
I always make everything open in a new tab. It always drove me nuts when it opened up in the main pad. You lose where you're at. So I force any website I do to open in a new tab, which is annoying, but also it lets you save what you're doing too.
As a matter of fact, I'm just going to do the window here. That way I can do this. Anyways, so yeah, merch store. And what I was about to say is like, so at my new job, like I can't just like wear t-shirts and hoodies and hats there. Like it's got to be like somewhat nice.
Sleeveless t-shirts.
Yeah, so like I couldn't get away with our sleeveless tee here, the Premium Tank. You know, by the way, which was my nickname in high school, Premium Tank. Come on, that was great. Anyways, so I've never been a polo guy, but it's just like I think I'm gonna get a polo because I could wear a polo to work. But yeah, we got the t-shirts, polos, the tanks, hoodies, hats. We got women's t-shirts, men's t-shirts, kids t-shirts. Yeah, a little bit of everything, my guys. Coffee mugs, more hats. Ooh, what's this? Is this a woman's flowy tank top by Bella? It sure is. It's got our stuff on it. Beanies. It's still cold out, guys. Got to get them beanies. We got stickers.
I mean, it was like 68 here today, so I mean,
it's like it's gonna be negative 17 or something tomorrow here. So, but yeah, there's all sorts of cool stuff on there, guys. And I'm not gonna go through every single page, but yeah, all sorts of like thermoses and basically, if it's a type of merch that can be customized, we got it. So go over there and check that stuff out. And, you know, when you buy something from there, a little bit of that comes to us, and that helps us with the project, which we've been talking about all live stream today. So check it out. You know, what if you're like, I don't want to, you know, an Atlanta Sea Colony merch? Well, maybe somebody you know does, okay? So quit thinking about yourself and buy it for someone else. All right. So also, we have, actually, I'm just going to go back to our website. How about that? Just makes it easier. Actually, while I'm doing that, you want to throw the links up, my friend?
I would love to.
Okay, so Well, now we're on to the partnership part. So there's 3 ways you guys can donate or help us out, aside from the merch, like we just talked about. So we have 2 ways of if you want to make like a one-time donation. The first one being PayPal here. You can go to paypal.me/Atlanta Sea Colony, or you can just go to our website and find it. Saying it like that is like, come to our website and find it yourself. No, but it's on the, right through the partnerships tab. Sorry, I should have explained that a little bit better. Or Cash App. Everybody's doing the Cash App, so it's a $ Cash App. Sorry, $ Atlanta Sea Colony. Or you can go to our Patreon. Patreon, if you want to do like a subscription type basis. Brendan, do you mind if I click on that Patreon tab?
You can do what you want.
I think I'm going to click on that Patreon tab. All right, so we're at Atlanta Sea Colony, and we have 3 tiers. Brendan, you want to give them a little taste of what those tiers are, my friend?
Well, the $5 tier is just our general introductory tier. It's just hey, you want to be supporting this? You want to have some money in things, some grit in it. That's where you go for the $5.
That's the Hammerhead tier.
Yeah, that is the Hammerhead tier. Yes, and we've got actually most of our people in there. However, this we've got Matthew Cathy. Let me throw the patrons out there. So Edward Haas, Brian Acosta, S. Babe Hyde, Matthew Cathy, Martin Reese. Matthew, man, he's updated his. I don't know if he wants it to be public or not, but it is now. So
to tell his whole family, be like, he is spending money over here. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not shaming anybody because, so these guys have been with us for quite a while, and been supporting us for quite some time. So, yeah.
And once again, all this stuff helps us as far as like not only maintaining what we already do, but helps us put money towards the project. We talked earlier that we knew crowdfunding was going to be a very challenging thing to do. And it's not impossible, but we know that the time length is going to be much longer. However, it does help. It keeps chipping away at the block while we wait for the other stuff. And it helps just put some money into the Atlanta Sea Colony bank account and helps us, like I said, do all the other stuff that we're trying to do and, keep plugging away. So all of it is helpful.
But back to what you're saying. So anyway, for the $15 one, you get everything. Yeah, you get all the basic stuff in there. You also, we've got this app where it's really cool. I can send you personalized video messages back and forth type of thing with up-to-date information. It's, really one-on-one type of thing. We got that. You part of that. Also, we have a monthly VIP, which is going to be starting up this next month. Shop talk event that we do. You're part of that as well. Then if you want to go all the way out in the $25, you get all that. Plus, we're going to have some Patreon only merch for those people who want to go that high up.
Yeah. So those are our tiers. Tiers, TIERS, not our blood, sweat, and tears. That's for a different time. But yeah, we got all of the stuff covered there. So once again, thank you guys for jumping in.
I do have one more thing.
Okay, let's hear it.
Well, one thing I mentioned earlier on we never did discuss was the stuff that Babe sent today about the other company that has come out of nowhere that supposedly is going to have an underwater habitat in the water this summer, according to their website. So, like I said, I'm done. So yeah, I've reached out to them. I'm going to talk to them, figure out exactly what they're doing, but they're advertising a similar design too to our prototype, just a little bit bigger. So yeah, I've reached out to them. I know they've accepted my message. They just haven't responded yet. Hopefully have a little more in depth to see what they're trying to do, how they're doing it, and if we can help each other out, great. But it's one of those things where I try to reach out to everybody in this community to hear what they're doing because I just like talking to people about this stuff. So anyway, So they're out there. Once I know more, I'll let you guys know more. Right now, there's just zero information about what they're doing except for, hey, coming summer 2022. No location, no really anything. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see what we hear.
Yeah.
That's a weird way of saying it, but yeah. So, okay. Well, aside from that, you got anything else, Mr. Traxler?
I do not.
Okay, guys. We already gave you the run through. One last time, AtlanticColony.com. Check us out for all of our info over there. Otherwise, we will see you next Tuesday.